Hello, welcome back. I'm Miniature Mike. If you haven't checked out my last video, it was doing a tier list for Jedi Academy. Um, One of my favorite sets, a lot of fun, love the theme of the set, so please check it out if you haven't seen that yet. We're going to continue the tier list series today by doing Galaxy at War, which is basically the continuation of the Clone Wars set, essentially. This is like seasons 2, maybe 3 of Clone Wars. Really fun set. I think this has more fun pieces, more better pieces in some ways than the last one. More balanced pieces too, which is a lot of fun to get to. So yeah, I just want to say I appreciate you. I've definitely seen a lot of more views, subscribers, comments, and so forth recently, so I really appreciate it. So if you do like these videos, please like, subscribe, comment. Would love to get your thoughts on these. I bet you'll all have different opinions for sure. And so, like I've said in past videos, the point of doing these is, I want to try to give a fair rating to a lot of these characters, kind of based on what they have to offer. I know that if you do lots of different commander effects and synergy, pretty much any character can be like A tier, S tier, honestly. You can do that with anybody. And so to try to have a bit more nuance and so forth, I want to try to only talk about commander effects briefly, or especially if they're very obvious. But try to more or less stick with that. And then in the future, I'll probably do content and videos that maybe zones in more on different kinds of unique purposes, commander effects, to maybe make some of these D tier better. So really a C tier character is someone that's just kind of situational. They could be amazing with the right commander, but for the most part, and kind of more just kind of with what they have to offer themselves, not fantastic. And then with D tier, usually characters that for the most part are pretty forgettable, but sometimes they have their uses too. So definitely don't want to leave those out. So without further ado, I'm going to go to Battle Droid. Don't get me wrong, battle droids have their purposes and uses, especially in the Separatist squad. But I'm just going to throw them in D tier. I mean, pretty much every other option, Separatist is great, but they're just kind of your fodder you throw in. Of course, you can make them really nice, but and by now we've seen a lot of commander effects and things that can influence them. But I'm just going to stick them in D tier. They're just there. They're what they are. They're pretty good. Battle Droid Sergeant. So these things I think are pretty interesting. So I definitely prefer the Officer. The Officer is much better because it's rangeless. And the thing with this guy is he costs, I think, a little bit more than the Officer. Not too much more, though. But his ability, it is really powerful, but he has to be close. So within 6 squares, 10 damage. That's really good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you could see the arguments for saying this isn't like, ATS tier. But I just feel like that stipulation, they have to be really close to the action, which means, they could get targeted quickly. They could get knocked out. If you're smart, you can keep out of harm's way. But I think it's a great power. But I would definitely use the Officer over the Sergeant by default any day. And if you got a good squad, mix this in. It'll make it amazing. But just kind of with what we have here, I'm just going to say B tier. A great piece. B doesn't mean it's bad or average. It's really good. A good piece. Yeah, just I'm not a huge fan of the, unfortunately that kind of holds it back. And on his own, maybe doesn't do all the most things. B3 Ultra Battle Droid. So personally, this is tricky because they don't cost too much for having great stats. Okay, I'm going to put these in A tier. These are one of my favorite characters in the entire game because, they cost as much as like, the older sets, the, Octopara droids, the Droideka, and these are so much better. You got 60 hit points, solid defense, solid attack, North standard damage, a triple attack. So if you choose, you have a lot of options here. You have triple attack is a good option for offense. You can use flamethrower if the situation arises for the guaranteed damage for groups, and then missiles 30, very helpful. And then density projector is great to throw in, and then damage reduction 10 is really nice just for the extra defense. And then, of course, he's easy to mix with the Separatist commanders to make him awesome. So I'm not going to say S tier because that really is reserved for just truly bonkers characters. But, man, I feel like the B3 is one of the best, premier special droids the Separatists have. So much fun. Tuuk, this guy's pretty good. So he has the ability to defend himself in opportunities. But this commander effect is that, activation 1. If this guy can see someone, you can increase or decrease the number of characters you activate. So I think this is pretty good. Um, I'm gonna probably where do I want to stick him? I don't want to stick everyone just so high, to be honest with you, but I think this is pretty solid. So for 14 points, definitely can defend himself as a shooter and hold his own, but a little bit. But that's a really good commander effect. The only stipulation is because he has to see them. Um, that's generally you're going to be fine. But if there's people with accurate shot, or they plan around it, or they try to, or the enemy basically tries to avoid that, it might not be as useful or helpful. So I can see situations where maybe it's not all that working for you, but really good. I'm going to put it high B tier. Again, really good with those conditions. To me, kind of hold it back from just being rock solid and steady, kind of all the time. But nothing wrong with that. So I'll stick it top of B tier here for now. Commando droid. So maybe this is a hot take, but I've never been a big fan of the commando droids in Star Wars miniatures. They don't have the powers that I want them to have. They have a lot of firepower. That's great and all, but I would prefer to have like something with like stealth. In the show they have vibro blades. They don't have those. And they have squad firepower instead. So with these, they are good droids, to be honest with you, but the problem with them is if you're going to mix them with General Grievous Droid Army Commander, he already gives twin attack. That's redundant. I'm not saying you have to mix it with him. There's other people that can do good things too. But the commando droids, I'm just not a fan of these. I've just never been a fan of them. It's just my own bias. I'm sure several of you will put them higher, and that's totally understandable. But I'm just going to stick these both in C tier. For 17 points, not bad. You have twin attack, but you have squad firepower. So basically you have to have 50 or 60 points. 60, you have to have 60 points worth of guys in commando droids, sunken commando droids, to be able to use squad firepower. And then if you lose them quick because they don't have many hit points, you're just going to be out. That power's out, and you're just going to be tickling people. So I don't like these. They're just, I just won't sink my stuff into them. So not a fan. The commando droid captain. So this, okay. I should rephrase what I just said. This guy does give the double attack, so he can make these guys more scary. They can shoot a lot. That is really good. And I think this guy is definitely much more interesting because he's got really solid stats overall. Deadeye, double attack. Like, this guy's going to do some really good stuff for you. So I'm going to bump him up to B tier. This guy's better. Yeah, I think you kind of almost have to use these guys in a set. And if you do synergize these two together, they are going to be much better. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just trying to look more kind of on their own and not necessarily trying to put everybody in A tier here. But I think these guys are good. They work with other droids too, so that is really, really nice. So I'm going to definitely put them in B tier. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good character overall. Definitely makes them better. Makes other droids better too. So definitely don't have a problem with these. Not at all. In fact, because it's just droids in general, not just these, I might even be tempted to stick them up a little bit higher than this. I'm going to put them high B tier. Because I've used these guys in the past, and they can be pretty helpful at giving that double attack to everybody. If you use him and Grievous Droid Army Droid Commander, yeah, you're going to have a lot of attacks to go around. But I don't want to get too crazy and say A tier. I might. We'll see. A4 Series Lab Droid. These guys are awesome. I'm going to say B tier. Just, don't get me wrong. B tier doesn't mean bad. It's still really good. But I'm going to put them right in here. Is that an appropriate spot? Yeah, it is. So, really solid. It's a great repair. It's probably one of the best options. It is probably the best option that the Separatists have for someone that's cheap and can repair. Has enough hit points to take a hit. But yeah, if you keep him back and if you organize your strategy right, then this guy's repair 30 is definitely going to help with your longevity. Really nice. General Grievous Droid Army Commander. I personally think this guy is an S tier, honestly. So here's my take with these. So this is Scourge of the Jedi, not Droid Army Commander. Droid Army Commander, he is better, in my opinion. This guy, though, the thing I like about him is I feel like Droid Army Commander is like the better version of Supreme Commander, and this guy is the better version of Jedi Hunter, General Grievous Jedi Hunter. But this guy still has a commander effect. So you got a person who's excellent against Jedi. He will shred Jedi to pieces. Shred them, which is amazing. The defense is still a little questionable, but like, if you can get up to a Jedi, 130 damage, 120 damage, quite, high chance of that. Very good. But he's melee. And his commander effect, well, maybe not as good as the other one. Still awesome. Extra attack, +4 attack, within 6 squares. But, if you plan for having people around him and whatnot, like, I still think that this version of General Grievous is fantastic. And yeah, you got to figure out the best time to use it. But General Worm, Loathsome, I personally think this guy is great. So I'm going to stick him in A tier. Yeah, I think this is a good enough spot. Should I put him above? I'm so biased towards these things. Maybe they just look cool. Great commander effect. For 20 points, he's got solid stats to stay alive, but giving followers within 6 squares twin attack androids is great. So this can help those non-droid fringe people. This can help those non-droid separatist people that often get neglected, and just droids in general. So he's like a cheaper version of giving twin attack to droids without having to have an expensive character. He's great. IG 100 Magnaguard. I don't like these Magnaguards. I prefer my Magnaguards. Well, these guys are solid with the melee. Don't get me wrong, and you can make them amazing with, all these commander effects that they provide. That is true, but there's better options. There just are better options for the separatists, and I'd actually prefer to have the Revenge of the Sith Magnaguards because they have bodyguard. And I really like the 60 hit points bodyguard for better pieces. So I'm just not a fan of these from a melee perspective for the separatists. I'm just not. So again, don't get me wrong. You can make a squad that uses other good combinations. They could be fantastic. But just for the purpose of this, I'll put them in C tier. IG 100 got Artillerist. Oh, these things are so fun. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're basically Magnaguards, but you have missiles 30 into this time, and you're basically paying 5 more for that power. It's totally worth it. So you still have the melee attack, so these guys, will do what they do melee attack-wise, which is whatever. But the fact that they have missiles, I think you can do some pretty wacky things with these. Very nice to have that power. Lots of fun. I'm a fan. So I'll probably put them up here. I might be overrating them. Just having missiles 30 is awesome, but I think they're appropriately rated. Combat droid. So I'm actually not as high on these. Don't get me wrong. They're easy to buff. They only cost 30, but they have bad attack. The defense is, it is fine. Hit points is solid, but they don't have a good way to just kind of reduce that damage like some of the other people do. And it is nice that they do have ambush. So if you get them right in a spot, they can move. They can mow down one guy. That's very powerful. And again, it's easy with the battle droid officer, other people to improve this. With the separatists, it's kind of a given that you're going to be improving these stats with those guys. So I think, again, hear me out. They can become really good, but I'm going to stick them in C tier. I'm going to do high C tier though. And my reasoning is, simply with the separatists, there's just a lot better options. There just are. There's better options out there. Having twin attack, when you mix them with other commanders, becomes redundant, and because a lot of other commanders like, Worm Loathsome, General Grievous Droid Commander, give twin attack. This guy gives double attack. So like, I feel like if you mix them with certain squads, then you're not really granting the most from those commander effects. And there's much more interesting, in my opinion, much better droids to be using for separatists than these. But again, you could probably make them with some cool squads. This guy, he is also A tier. Very powerful. He might even be S tier. So he can repair well, like the original. He can defend himself great. Other people can defend him. He is very expensive though, 43, and it's appropriate because he does have immediate droid reserves. So definitely can defend himself well. This guy, I'm gonna stick him at the top of A tier for now, and we'll see how S tier shakes up. He might make it up there, but that's really good. I mean, I put Kazdan Paratus for having immediate droid reserves up there, so I may have to stick him up there later. Admiral Yularen, also pretty cool. Recon is a plus, Opportunist is plus, and then followers without melee attack, basically everybody that's not a Jedi. they gain opportunist plus 10. That can be pretty sweet on so many characters. So I'm going to stick him in low A tier. You know, just trying to respect that. Like, he's really good. I like these just a little bit more, but man, he's got some good stuff going for him. Recon's nice. He's a little weak-ish, so watch out. He could get killed. But yeah, keep him back. Use that recon when necessary, and yeah, great commander effect. Definitely awesome for this team. ARF Trooper, I'm a fan of these guys. I'm gonna put them in B tier. I don't want to get too crazy, but the Trooper's extremely high. I'll put them right there in B tier. I think these are a little bit better. Again, man, I might stick these in A tier, but we'll hold on just for a second longer. Yeah, really good Trooper. One of the best in my opinion. They have stealth and they have great cover when they have a situation, and they have recon. So maybe that. Yeah, now I'm underselling these guys. I'm gonna switch these. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna switch these like this. Missiles 30, awesome. I'm gonna put them top of B tier, but that's kind of a one-trick pony, but a very good one-trick pony. And then I just really like the versatility of giving just all your droids double attack, and having great stats in and of themselves. So I think these guys they can make it A tier. These guys, they have to be S tier, not S tier. They have to be A tier, maybe even higher, to be honest with you. I'm going to actually have him go down. Oh no, I'm going to keep it where it is. Yeah, I'll keep it where it is. Twin attack on everyone is really nice, and he's not too expensive. Actually, how expensive was Yularen? 21. And then this guy's like also 21. Well, I'm not going to go back that far. ARF Trooper, though, so good. You have stealth, squad cover, recon. Yeah. Great combinations for great things. ATTE Driver. Yeah, no, not a fan of these at all. So I'm going to put these right down here. I mean, they're basically just okay. If you look at the cost, they are better than Clone Troopers. They have 3 more defense and ground pilot. So, like, by default, I'm just going to have to stick them up here, actually, because, like, they are better than Clone Troopers by default. They cost the same and just do more. But when are you really going to use this? I just feel like, of course, you could plan a squad out. That could be cool to use it. But in general, it's not impressive to me. So if I had Clone Trooper, I'd probably stick them. Traditionally, I put Clone Troopers down in low C tier anyway, so these guys can be a little bit higher than them, but overall, not a big fan. Captain Argaius, very awesome, in my opinion. So I think Senate Commandos are already awesome, amazing. And there's other Senate things too. So you have pretty decent stats. I like the higher kind of attack. And then for what this guy does, he has close quarters fighting and twin attack, so that can be nice with the adjacent, but you don't want to get too close. But the thing I really like about this guy is the fact that, again, his commander effect is very specific to just one group of people, but it makes him very good. Are they next? Not yet. They make him very, very good. They'll give a unit that already has double attack, twin attack. They do 30 damage, I believe. We'll get there. And they give him close quarters fighting, which is, the close quarters fighting is kind of, in my opinion, really good for some of the bodyguard Senate people. Whereas the twin attack, I think, is really, really nice for Senate Commandos. So this guy, I think he's very, very good. I'm going to put him, but again, his powers are very specific. So I get it, like, him and the Senate Commandos or whatever, can be an S tier squad. Don't get me wrong. But his commander effect is, just specific to like 2 or 3 people. For 30 points, this is pretty good, but like close quarters fighting, you can avoid that usually. And then twin attack, very nice, and the commander effect's good. So I think top of B tier is appropriate for him, really good. And again, don't get me wrong, you mix with the right squads, obviously he can become S tier, but just trying to keep things a little toned down, he's B tier. Clone Trooper pilot, these guys are awesome. So they have a good gunner, so if you do have the mounted weapon people, it's going to be great. They also have evade. They have pretty solid stats. Cannot go wrong. I think these guys are pretty good, so I'm going to stick them in B tier, simply because you don't use a lot of these types of characters in Republic squads, but you can, and having evade is awesome. So I'm going to put this just below. Yeah, I think I'm going to put them just below it. Yeah. Clone Trooper Sergeant. So I put this guy in B tier. He doesn't belong in B tier. No, I didn't. I did C tier. Good. I thought I was going crazy. Yep, I'm gonna put this guy down here. Situational. Like for 10 points, basically just provides your commander effect where everyone gets deadly attack. That's not an amazing commander effect in my opinion, but it's nice. It's better than nothing. I think I overrated this commander effect when I was doing Clone Strike, so I'm going to put them down there. Clone Trooper with Night Vision. These guys are overrated. So they do get accurate shot, but they cost so much more. So they have the same stats as a Clone Trooper, but you pay 4 to get accurate shot, and you can give accurate shot to these guys with other characters. It's not that hard. I'm not a fan. I think they're getting overcosted just for having accurate shot, in my opinion. So I'm going to stick these guys down here. Yeah, I'm just going to put them all the way down to C tier. They're not, like, useless, don't get me wrong, but, like, just not a fan. Clone Trooper Repeating Blaster. So you mix this guy with Captain Rex, and, that's pretty scary. But, you're not always going to have Captain Rex. You're not always going to be able to have all those situations available to you. But on their own, you get a guy who very fragile. Like, one shot, he's gone. And you're paying $23 for this. But the fact that he does have quadruple attack, there's a lot of potential there. So with this guy, I'm going to put him in B tier. I'm trying to figure out exactly where he belongs. I'm going to put him just above Martuk because he has that. No, yeah. Yeah, let's do the right here. This is a good spot. So the reason I'm putting him on B tier is because you do depend a lot on other commander effects and strategy to make you extremely effective. If you execute them well, he's going to be amazing. You can use these guys. They can be awesome. Lots of attacks. This guy's just begging to be with Captain Rex. But you also got to acknowledge, though, that they have to be stationary when they start their turn to be able to attack, unless you modify it. But just in general, like, they are very fragile. Like, one shot, you're down 23 points. Ugh. That's a big pill to swallow. So lots of potential, but I'm just going to keep them down there right now. So yeah, if you're not listening to the video, you're just kind of skipping to the end, you probably won't hear my reasoning, but that's kind of where I come from. This Ahsoka is much better in my opinion than the last Ahsoka. So her commander effect, really cool, really interesting commander effect, to give rolling cleave out to followers. A lot of cool potential with that. Lightsaber defense, it's a great just all-purpose power, better than the other Ahsoka, who I think just has deflect. Better stats too. Of course, this Ahsoka is a little more expensive, but really nice power. She has rolling cleave. Like, you can do some interesting things with this Ahsoka, honestly. I really like this Ahsoka quite a lot more, although I'm not going to go too overboard with her, to be quite honest with you. I am going to put her just above Argaius, I think. Man, this guy could be so good when you mix him with the right people. He can make other people really good, I should say. I'm going to put Ahsoka just right here in B tier. In B tier, she's good. Followers getting rolling cleave, that is nice, but it's not like you're going to necessarily use that a whole lot. If you put her with the right people, it'll be great. Can be really awesome. She can defend herself. Has good power. She's pretty cheap. The only thing her knock on is bad attack. So if she goes up against good melee pieces, her chance of hitting is not very good, but I think that's just kind of how it is. You have to live with it. I'm going to stick her just above. I think this guy can be so good in the right situation, but it's like, you have to have the right situation for him with the other Senate characters, which is what he's for. But I'll do B tier. Commander Cody. So initially I overcosted this guy just a little bit. So good stats. For the commanders, they typically have worse stats than this. So basically what he can do is he can do one very accurate, very deadly shot. So having accurate shots, great, deadly, and flurry. So this guy's critical hits are just, you're banking on a critical hit to be amazing. It's always nice to get cheaper clone troopers. And then his commander effect of having, Order 66, flurry attack. So again, good commander effect, but like, it's something that has a lot of boomer bust. So it's probably never going to happen. But when it does, very strong. For that reason, I am going to have to put him in B tier. I kind of like the other commander, Cody, better. Just for some reason, even though he's in some ways worse, to be honest, he feels more versatile. This guy's just very all in on the deadly flurry attack combo. So that's just kind of my feeling on him. So I'm going to stick him right here. Yeah, right here. Really good piece, but he's putting a lot of eggs in one basket. Captain Rex, this guy is not, I'm not going to put him S tier like with the other one because he's not on the same level as the other Captain Rex, but I'm going to put him at the very top of A tier. I have this piece. I've used him a lot. He's amazing. Greater mobile and flights and double. I might put him low S tier, but let's just wait and see. Yeah, his hit point, awesome stuff. Really good commander effect. It's kind of like you're giving them like a poor man's mobile attack, which is also very good. Elite Senate Guard. So for 18 points, you get a 50-point bodyguard. They have heavy weapon, but if they don't move with Captain Argaius, if they're not with Captain Argaius, then they're fine. You know, like they're good. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna put them top of C tier though, and the reason is like they have heavy weapon and they have to move around with whoever the character is they're with, which means they're not going to be attacking. But if they do have the opportunity to attack, they are going to kick some butt. So I'll put them in bottom of B tier. So if they aren't moving, kick a lot of butt, absorb damage. That's very good. 501st Clone Trooper, really nice. So instead of these guys, use these ones. Squad Assault, easy to get. Double attack, nice to have it. And then if you mix these with, Captain Rex, which is kind of the natural pairing, be able to have greater mobile and double. Very nice characters. So with these, I'm also going to put them in B tier. Let's put them just above these guys. Yeah, I'm just going to stick this like that. General Skywalker, man, so this guy can be such a nightmare, but if you screw up with him, then it's all over. So with General Skywalker, he does cost a lot. His hit points, like, he's kind of fragile. Like, if you put him in the wrong situation, he could get eviscerated instantly, just because of his lack of defense, which, okay, you have to hear me out. He does have lightsaber defense. That's great. But if you put him, I've played games where people accidentally, miscalculated, and he died in like 5 seconds, which is, a tactical mistake. But with General Skywalker, kind of in some ways like a glass cannon. So he has amazing things going on. Gemstone style's great, double, greater mobile, and momentum, and night speed. So you can utilize all those things together to make him do these really quick precision strikes. So you can run in, smash somebody, and even run away if you kill them, or just like move in, blast them. You do have really great force powers. You do have some defense to help kind of mitigate this. And then the fact that you can give followers momentum can be pretty cool. So you can do some really interesting things. You can give some other characters maybe momentum that maybe typically, I don't know, maybe some of the Clone Strike Jedi, give those guys who have single attacks something a little bit more to live for, I guess. But cool things with him. I'm not going to stick him S tier. What I am going to do, I'm going to put him top of A tier, and I'm going to stick this guy in S tier. I've had so much fun with him. He's in S tier with the other Rex, but the other Rex is clearly better, in my opinion. So I will put him to S tier. He's top of A tier. Don't get me wrong, when you use all of these powers together, you can do some massive damage. But if you make, he is easy to, if you make an accidental misstep, his hit points, the slightly lower defense for a Jedi will make him evaporate fast, and he does cost quite a lot, even for kind of that fragility. But again, that kind of precision, jump in, strike, jump out, really good. Misto Jedi Master, this guy's also A tier. So what you have here is basically you want to be attacking crowds. He can do lots of attacks. He costs a fortune, though, and I don't know if he's worth that much, really. So he has solid stats. He's amazing in groups, but again, the enemy, if they know that, they will try to plan around that. Maybe they not always will be able to, but they can. Precision's fine, I guess. I mean, you'll do a little extra damage, maybe. Surprise move is the cool thing. So you can kind of move yourself into a position so that if you win the initiative, you can be next to someone, you can use all your attacks and destroy them, or you can use surprise move, where if your enemy's trying to avoid Shicho style from working, you can put yourself into a position where it does work, and then you're slaying people. So I am going to put him bottom of A tier, and the reason why is, like, using surprise move with twin, double, and Shicho can be amazing. And it really is. It's really nice tactical stuff. But the problem is he still costs 60 points. And for someone who's 60 points, it feels like you're banking a lot on things going right. So in some ways, I'm almost wondering if he's... No, I'll put him low A tier. Because I still think he's really awesome. But you're still banking a lot on things going right to make him strong. And that costs a lot. Nadar Veb, I think this guy's useless. I don't like him at all. I don't know. For 17 points, this is fine. This is a good melee character-ish, I guess. He only has 2 force push 1, woohoo, lightsaber deflect. Okay. But honestly, there's like no instances I could ever make a squad with this guy, or that I'd want to make a squad with this guy. There's just so many other better options, so I'm skipping him. General Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay. So, thanks to a comment, someone mentioned that Suresu style mastery, there is an errata. And I've looked at other errata and FAQs, and sometimes they don't exactly jive or make much sense, but Suresu style mastery is not just an attack, but I believe it was, I think either melee or non-melee attack. Either way, still a really good power. Having metal is always good to have. It's what Obi-Wan has, I see. So the cool thing with this guy is, so for 66 points, you're getting a guy with flight. He can move around. He's got surprise moves, so you can kind of put him in interesting situations. He doesn't have like the most offense, to be honest with you. He really doesn't. So it's not like you're using surprise move to then just shred something. You're not. But the cool thing is that he gives all allies. He does have the all allies get extra attack. So, if you do the right squads, the implications of this can be very strong. And I put him in S tier. I don't think he's an S tier character, though. I just don't feel like he is. Like, for 66 points, even though he has Suresu style mastery and you play it correctly with how it's actually meant to be played, he has limited force. Surprise move is great, but like if you're trying to re-roll these, you'll run out quick. And he has a great commander effect. So I'm either going to put him top of A tier or bottom of S tier. I think I'm going to stick him top of A tier, actually. Man, this is tough. I'll put him bottom of S tier. I think if you use... I've played against this guy with good players and stuff, and he's fine. He can do good stuff. Like, these are really good powers, but something about it doesn't feel like he should be 66. Like, it just doesn't quite work for me to be 66. He can defend himself, but when he runs out of force, he can't use... So you'll drain your force. You won't be able to use surprise move. There you go. Tuuk and Commando. I love these things. Solid stats. Really good stats. 20 points. Double attack. Can easily get twinned from him. And then they can just gun everything down that they are looking at. So much fun. As a result, I'm going to put these guys... I'm actually going to put these guys up in A tier. I think... It's just so cool. So good. Yeah. Let's do this. That sounds fine. I know it doesn't make sense for me to put Argaius lower, and you might think that's crazy, but his commander effect, like, these guys are awesome, even without Argaius. And Argaius is nice, but you have to put him with the Magnaguards to make him good. Otherwise, he's just kind of, he just kind of exists. So that's my logic. Qualish Technician. Now we're on to the couple fringe characters. I think I forgot about the Strike Leader girl. Yeah, she was first. Whoops. I'll have to go back and do her. Aqualish Technician. Having Rangefinder is nice, I guess. They don't cost that much. So the whole purpose of these guys really is to just kind of, give an adjacent ally a little bit more attack. So pretty solid. I don't dislike these guys too much. I think they're fine. But in context of the rest of the set, and I know I'm doing this by set, is I'm going to set like these guys more than these. Much better than that. I'll put him high C tier. Yeah, I think using rangefinder can be a nice thing. You know, just a little boost to help you out a little bit. So, Cad Bane, he's going right here, in my opinion. Yeah, he's top. So 54. You get someone who's nice stats all around. Not as much as like Boba Fett's, but he has evade and stealth. So it's just trying to hit this guy, trying to find him is going to be so hard. He has double, greater mobile, and twin. He does not have accurate shots. So like he kind of looks to me, he really feels a lot like Boba Fett. But you're trading hit points and accurate shot for in some ways for stealth, and greater mobile attack. So it's a trade off. They're both great for different reasons. He's definitely an S tier. Fantastic. He's just gonna run around, be a nightmare. He'll kill everything. So very good. Hondo. I unfortunately have problems with this guy. He costs for 35. He costs kind of too much. So basically, you're paying $35, 35 cost for a guy who's going to have 14 attack, 50 damage if he doesn't move, and against non-activated people, and accurate shot. And so as a result of that, like that's a nice shot, I guess. I mean, you'll probably hit someone in cover, so it's more like plus 10 still. So like, okay, that's great. And his commander effect is terrible. I hate his commander effect because only followers who are pirates gain accurate shot. And from my recollection, I think there's only 2 characters in the entire game that are pirates. And one of them already has accurate shot, so it doesn't affect him. And this just affects to weak way pirates, which are, I mean, they're okay, I guess. They're interesting. Unfortunately for me, I'm gonna have to stick Hondo down in C tier because don't get me wrong, having that nice shot is great. Like you might think putting someone with accurate shot down this low is bad, but his commander effect's infuriating. And of course, you can make him amazing with the right commander effects and synergy. But I just get really kind of frustrated with how much he costs for the commander effect that's useless. And you're just banking. There's much better characters to use than him. R4 Astro Droid. Okay, gotta stick these guys up here. I'm gonna put him just above him, just to space out a little bit. Sure. Jeez, I don't know. Whatever. I'll leave him up there. 40 hit points and defense. So this guy's he can survive, and he's got override. Very nice. Rodian Trader. So I was tempted to stick in this S tier. He's not S tier because you can give heal, you can give grenades, but your characters are still gonna have to replace attacks to use these powers, and it's just heal 10. I know if you mix this with, there's some other people, like I saw someone use this with a back to tank to kind of have everybody on the squad be able to heal, and everyone near the back to tank could heal much better. And this is, don't get me wrong, I think it's really good to be able to give these powers out to people. You can give grenades 10, that's nice. Giving this one out, heal 10 is really cool at the beginning of the game. You give everyone heal 10. It's not a bad thing, but I think it might be a little overrated in my opinion. So I am going to stick this guy right here. Yeah, I'm going to stick him right in B tier right here. Really nice, really good. I just think he's a little overrated. Like giving heal 10 is great, but it's just heal 10. And people still have to use their activations for it. So Treadwell Droid, 10 points. You basically have targeting. It's cool. You can make it easier for people to hit someone. So I'll just stick it bottom of B tier. They're nice. Weak Way Pirate. So pretty much these guys benefit from Hondo. They're the only beneficiary. And so they'll have accurate shot with him, with cunning attacks, so 12 attack, 20 damage for only costing 10. Pretty good. Pretty good, honestly. So, but that's with all those situations, right? So unfortunately, I'm not going to use these guys. And the reason I'm not going to use them is there's so many other fringe characters out there. There just are. And that are very similar too. Like so many other people that are similar to these that you can use. I mean, you can make arguments to say that they're actually better, but I'm just gonna stick them down there. I just get frustrated at the whole you have to have Hondo with them, and that's just kind of how it goes. So anyways, let's go to the first character. I accidentally skipped her. Ventress, Strike Leader, is really good. Very good. So not quite the same as the other person. The other Ventress that we recently reviewed, who is very powerful in my opinion. So with this Ventress, you have a few things going for you. So solid stats. You still have Nimin style. So when you're full health, great shape. And the cool thing about her is she still has double and twin, and then she got good survivability with evade. And you could use some things too if you want to survive. If you want to use evade longer, again, you could probably mix her with like uh, other characters like Darth Sidious or whatever to help her have more force powers and things. So that's great. So grip tent 1, it's okay. Doesn't hurt to have. Master speed, pretty cool. And then Sith Rage, very cool. So with speed and rage, if you use those in different combinations to maximize Nimin style early on, double and twin, you can run up, do lots of damage. Very nice. Her commander effect, it is nice that it's an improvement over the traditional commander effect for Ventress. So Ventress usually just gives deadly attack, but now she gives deadly attack and vicious attack. So again, it's kind of like Commander Cody, where you're really kind of banking on a boomer bust potential here. Like, okay, if you get a critical hit, it's going to be amazing, which it's not something you can really, necessarily always count on. But if it works, you hit the jackpot. So with her, I think she's an A tier piece. I'm going to put her right here. I think being able to bring in a bazillion droids easily, crazy underrated and powerful, easy to do. I like this guy's speed, what he does. I think she's so good though. She really is. Commander effect is maybe you're not always going to use it. Low force points. She's balanced well. Very good character. So, okay, I think that's going to do it for Galaxy at War. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Honestly, if you compare these maybe to the Rebel Storm ones from the beginning, you could see some power creep. So I'm trying to adjust for the power creep a little bit, trying to keep this distribution of characters kind of across the whole thing. So again, just because it's C tier or D tier doesn't mean it's bad. You can definitely create synergies and definitely create squads and commander effect combos that will make these guys awesome. These ones awesome. But just kind of trying to look at it on its own. I think that's kind of where they belong. So again, a really great set. Love these characters. I've collected most of them. I think I'm just missing Hondo basically. But it's a good one. So again, yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.